Hello, everyone. If you've ever been near a construction site, you've undoubtedly seen the big yellow machines hard at work, clearing, excavating, lifting to create something new, something better than before. And there's a very good chance that if you look closely, you'd see the Ohio Cat insignia on all of this equipment. And therein lies the metaphor for today's guest. For 3 generations, the Taylor family has used its income and influence from the ownership of Ohio Cat to unearth economic inequity, clear the way for opportunity, and lift up people to create a better world. As president of Ohio Cat, Ken Taylor continues a proud family tradition of giving back. And we welcome Ken Taylor to the show.
Thank you, Leon.
The Taylor family has long had a philosophy of philanthropy. Tell me about that.
Well, I do have to start back with my grandparents' generation. My grandfather was a salesman in Northeast Ohio selling tractors and scrapers and loaders, and very successful in his career. He and my grandmother were very successful coming out of the Depression, and really saved and turned to the community, both their church and also to institutions around Cleveland to support them and support the goodness of this Northeast Ohio area.
So as they began all of this, it has been handed down generation to generation.
Dad got started with the company in 59. He was not a salesman, and I have to say I really wasn't a salesman either. But he went to the Wharton Business School out at the University of Pennsylvania, educated himself in everything that was being invented and dreamed up in business at the time, and really brought professional management to the company. And so the company thrived. And in the same way, my dad and mom were very involved in the community, philanthropy, the church. Notable institutions were St. Luke's Hospital back in the day, also the Cleveland Orchestra, university hospitals, and just other miscellaneous groups around town.
I would imagine, Ken, as president of Ohio Cat, that you have to invest a lot of your attention, of course, into the operating and the running of the company. And yet you still find time to invest in people, those who work for you, and people even in the community who don't necessarily work for your company. What drives you to do this?
This is something I talk about in our company's new employee orientations whenever new employees join us. And I tell everybody about how we have so many hard assets. We have locations, we have rental fleet, we have parts, we have tooling, vehicles, all these hard assets, but none of that means anything without people. And so in the same way, as we work outside into the community and develop relationships and do good works in the community, it's all about people. It's connecting with people and in that way, bringing some value to the community in a similar way as to bringing value to our customers.
Kindland is always about kindness. Tell me about how you plug into this philosophy of being kind.
It's interesting. I didn't really know about the kindness campaign or anything until started seeing billboards around Cleveland, and became acquainted through Mike Parks with the Values in Action Foundation. And really, if you talk to anybody I know, whether that's in business or personally, kindness is certainly one of those characteristics that I exhibit. It comes just from my upbringing. So it's just a fundamental characteristic that I've developed through my upbringing. And really that's something that I bring to the company perhaps as my added value, both inside the company and outside the company, to do greater things than simply the day-to-day business.
You've infused this thought into the company. You talk to your employees about this whole philosophy of being kind, don't you?
After my dad passed away, an untimely passing back in 1994, I started out putting together the company's new vision statement, mission statement, and guiding philosophies. And these values, these philosophies speak to the stakeholders in the business. And so that's employees, that's the community, that's the government. With that development of the guiding philosophies, I added the item, which is for Ohio Machinery Company to be an asset in the communities where we live and work. That's provided really a framework for many years now for how we act in the community, both with our time and our treasure and our creativity.
You mentioned just 30 seconds ago or so the word treasure. You give of what you have earned. You give it to worthwhile causes.
Education, economic development, partnering with customers for causes they care about, and also recognizing and supporting in a big way those institutions around Ohio that make Ohio a special place. The Air Force Museum down in Dayton, Foundation for Appalachian Ohio, based in Nelsonville in that 32 county area of Ohio. Of course, the Cleveland Orchestra, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Ohio State University, where one of my sons went. Just these are great, great features of our state and make this a great place to live and work.
Was there a common thread which came through these three generations to you to give to the community in some way? Was there a common thread of giving?
I would say the common thread really was something, a phrase my dad coined, which was, it's nothing rocket science, it's where people make the difference. So the people aspect of our organization is a thread. And if you build on that and take it not only within the company, but into the community, it's still the same thread. It's people. My parents and grandparents were very generous in the community with contributions. I've chosen to take this foundation and build on it in a significant way, dedicating pretty meaningful dollars into the community. And I just think that if the community is doing better, then that comes full circle to all of us.
You see the fruits of your labor when you do that, don't you? How does that make you feel to lift up, help these people lift themselves up?
It feels great, Leon. I'm happy to say that my early contributions to the Foundation for Appalachian Ohio really were perhaps a catalyst to further development of the foundation itself and the assets that they manage and utilize for philanthropic purposes in Eastern Ohio. I'm pleased to have been a part of the early days of accelerating their growth and impact on the community to the point where today every county has a foundation resource.
Take me back to your early years when you were watching, when your grandparents and certainly your parents were modeling what you have become.
The word opportunity was a common discussion in the house, and also the word stewardship was a common theme. And that theme, that was probably the single theme that convinced me at the end of the day to join the family business back in 1988. Both my dad and mom were instrumental in the second generation of Ohio Machinery Company, Ohio Cat. And I saw that opportunity to carry the legacy forward and to do with it some new things and build on the past. So I'd say the early years were years of understanding how important opportunity is and how that's connected to the company and how important stewardship is.
In many ways, you have cast your bread upon the water and it has come back. So all of that philosophy, all of that, the things we've been talking about, it's all wrapped up in a nice package. Am I correct?
I like that, Leon, this idea of a package, that it's been formulated through all of life's experiences and people, and I've had good influences around me. I think if we bring more kindness into our interactions in the workplace, at home, in the neighborhood, in the community, that makes a difference. And I think we can build on that.
We can make a better world.
We can.
Thank you so much for being with us, Ken Taylor. We appreciate that. Ken Taylor, who's president of Ohio Cat, talking with us about how he got started with the business. Third generation of Ohio Cat, running those big pieces of machinery that we see excavating throughout our country. And he tells us about his philosophy of giving. And we thank you so much for being on the broadcast today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And that's the Kindland Report. I'm Leon Bibb. I'll see you next time.